I stood by the shore and I said what I thought about Kudankulam near our homes. I spoke of fish and children at night. They said I was speaking against the state. I was not asking for anything grand. I only asked what came from that plant. They called it sedition for saying those things. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I say too much?
This is about 6,000 activists charged with sedition for protesting a nuclear plant.
Safe. Why call my worry sedition? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I step out of place? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why answer me with handcuffs? They spoke of progress, they spoke of pride. They spoke as if nuclear was care. I spoke of water, boats and nets. They answered like I should not be there. Now I am wiser, now I am calmer. Now I repeat what they told me is true. If someone gets sick, it must be something else. Nuclear saves lives, or so they say. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I say too much? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why call my worry sedition? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I step out of place? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why charge me and put me in handcuffs? Now I get it, now I understand. Nuclear is clean. Now I get it, now I understand. It was only me. Now I get it, now I understand. I was making trouble then. Nuclear is kind and clean. That's what I say now here. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? I only spoke of our shores. If nuclear is so clean
a true story.
And safe,
on top of that, 100% true. There's a link under the video.
Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? I only asked what it means. Now when they speak of a future built on nuclear, I say that nuclear is clean.
India just announced they have a breeder reactor. They're going to make their own fuel for 100 gigawatts. They got like 10 or 12 or something right now. again, we got a banger show for everybody tonight. I'm thinking about quitting what I'm doing. Kind of, right? I'm thinking about doing a comedy tour across Canada, United States. I'm going to do a comedian comedy tour on nuclear and robots. Before it's illegal to say anything about robots. Because you know that day is coming. No criticism of robots will be allowed. The robots will show up and defend themselves. You're anti-robotic scum. We sentence you to listen to Stinkfoot lectures all day and all night. If number 4 reactor collapses, Japan will be evacuated. You can tell people after we watch this presentation tonight that you're listening to this expert on nuclear talking about how academics that have lied about the effects of radiation because of AI will be held accountable, will lose their degrees, their pensions. God bless AI. If number 4 reactor collapses, Japan will be evacuated. Let's have a look at it. I can't tell. Does that look... It's supposed to be 190 foot tall and 150 feet wide. At the top of the buildings were 2 fuel pools. And because you don't have a repository, there's around 8 reactor cores, full reactor cores, massive, pure uranium, pure plutonium reactor cores, except for that one. He was different. He had plutonium mixed oxide fuel. And when I say he had it, I mean he had it. It ejected 9 reactor cores out of the building. One of them was a running breeder reactor, plutonium mixed oxide reactors. The same fuel Shift for Brains India is about to use. Don't worry though, everything's good. Because they went boogly, 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 boogly. And everything's good now. So nothing actually happened. And if it did, don't worry, it's only equal to that many bananas. You can ask the other experts. Yeah, I mean, they picked up 30 million one-ton bags and 3% of the land, farmland. Yeah, go ahead, farm. It's in the bag. Don't worry about it. Can you imagine 30 million one-ton bags? Can you wrap your mind around that? Can you wrap your mind around about 100,000 sites like this? Think about 6 rows of traffic wrapped around the planet of 1-ton trucks with a 1-ton bag in the back of each of them. 2,200 pounds. Yeah, don't worry, we're going to the moon. They're going to pump some nuclear up there. What could possibly go wrong with the... Should NASA, of course. So then the big question is, should NASA... NASA. We got a poll for NASA. And where the hell is that, Dana? It's coming. It'll get here. Should NASA be defunded for contaminating all the species on Earth, except for you, because you're special, you're different, it never happened to you, but happened to everybody else. Didn't happen to your children or your friends or your families, okay? But it happened to everybody else and every other species on the planet. But you're special, so it didn't happen to you. Don't forget that. So tonight I'm going to practice my routine for my comedy show that I'm going to be doing. I might even take it right out of the continent to other continents. And all the money that I make, I'm going to donate to a legal fund to prosecute all nuclear scumbags on this planet. I don't need much, just need satisfaction. Should NASA be defunded for contaminating all species on Earth with plutonium from failed launches? Like a single launch contaminated every species on our planet with plutonium. Think about that statement. Forget about what they're doing to you at 1,000 fuel pools every day. You can't contain the emissions. A reactor core splits atoms and produces enough man-made anthropogenic atoms that are in a containment. Thank goodness, because there's no species on the planet with an autoimmune trigger that can fend against it. So we dodged the bullet there. But after 12, 14 months, they're going to take a third of it and put it in a fuel pool where there's no containment and still splitting atoms for 300,000 or 400,000 people. And they're going to add another chunk of that every 12, 14 months. And they're going to keep doing that for decades. So in a few decades, you got 10, 12 reactor cores in a pool with no containment, splitting atoms for 12 million people. But instead of making power, they're making cancer and heart problems, liver problems, lung problems, respiratory, pituitary, thyroid, adrenal. Sound like a whodunit. That sounds cool. That's like perfect world to live in. Thanks, nuclear. You're the best. White House directs accelerated space nuclear power initiative. Durka. Trump, yep, give me paper. There you go. It's accelerated. It's accelerated. Accelerated. Let the scientists figure it out. AI will be around in about 4 or 5 years. We won't need those scientists no more. We'll figure it out on our own. The scientists are gone. Particularly nuclear scientists, right? Because it's the 8 decades of inbreeding is going to come to an end. That's how I see it. White House directs accelerated space nuclear power initiative. We're going to put, in 2 years' time, how many times have we heard this story of 2 years' time? Oh, in 2 years we're going to... NASA, of course, NASA can't change the toilet paper roll in 2 years, for goodness sakes, on the space shuttle. Like, they spent like $1 billion on the toilet? Yeah, well, NASA, I know what you're saying. Yesterday, the U.S. Office of Science Technology Policy issued a National Science and Technology Memorandum 3, also known as NSTM/3, officially launching a national initiative for American space nuclear power. Oh, got to beat the Ruskies up there. How come NASA hasn't went to the moon? Why are they sending people around the moon? Sightseeing. The memorandums cost a lot of money. Why you just want to land on the moon if you're going up there? That sounds stupid, I'm sure, but that's what a normal engineer would have done. We could all watch you with our cameras and everything. The memorandum established accelerated near-term timelines for space nuclear deployment aiming to replace reactors in orbit, placement in orbit as early as 2028. That's the good one. So weren't they supposed to have small modular reactors like 2014 and then 2015? 2016, we're definitely going to have them. All the whales are emaciated. 2017. Yeah, next year we're going to have them. 2019, we're going to have them. And we haven't stopped since. Every year. No, next year we'll have them. You watch. There's 100 companies doing it. There's another 100 companies working on cold fusion. There's another 100 companies working on fusion and fission. Small modular reactors. We're going to break the code. Never happened. Memorandum established accelerated near-term timelines. So this story, this big whoop, is all out of memorandum. Someone got a memorandum? Better text it out to New York Times or something. They'll make a story out of it. Pentagon will throw them a bone. Space Reactor-1, SR1, freedom. Freedom from what? This is the only planet you guys shouldn't take care of this one first. Worry about space later. Targeted for a December 2028 launch. The SR1 sounds pretty fancy, right? It doesn't even exist. It's barely a rendition in AI format. will be the first spacecraft to utilize a nuclear fission reactor for propulsion beyond Earth's orbit. They never tried it out, of course. The mission is designed to repurpose NASA's newly built Power and Propulsion Elements spacecraft bus. I was right up there front and center today. I was like, dirty, rotten, getting in the way of real news again. It'll deliver 20 kilowatts of electrical power within 48 hours of escaping the Earth's gravity. And of course, there's a stupid amount of fuel to get that pig up there. The system will start the fission reactor and powered electric thrusters unless it blows up, which they've been known to do quite a bit with their records. U.S. lab uses, remember this story? U.S. lab uses lasers and heat to map Neptunium for producing deep space nuclear fuel. That was last month. Just yesterday, if you're in space. The work is vital. You got to give us all the money you got. We'll take everything you got. If you can't get it, just steal it from the homeless and the veterans and the disabled. India's first fast breeder nuclear reactor achieves criticality. Woo! These are the same people that the protesters of a nuclear plant, they stole the water, sold their land dirt cheap thinking they were building factories. They were told they were going to build factories. Instead, they built a nuclear power plant there. Like what Taiwan done, right? They told the natives on Orchard Island they were going to build a canning factory. Instead, they built a nuclear dump. You signed the dotted line, man. You signed the dotted line for 99 years. They're still fighting to get their little tiny island. They used to own Taiwan. Taiwan said, we'll kill you. You can get out on this stupid island in the middle of nowhere. It was nothing, surrounded by cliffs, no beaches. And sneaky little friggers, eh? Those Taiwanese. There's India's first fast breeder nuclear. Like, that's the scariest statement imaginable. These are the same people that arrested 10,000 people, charged over 6,000 with sedition for protesting. Everybody else gets charged with protesting. You're a good person. That's how you get your name out there. Not in India. And then you get re-educated. Then you have to call it clean and green for the rest of your life. I was re-educated. I was wrong. They were right. Can I get a bank account? Can my kids go to school now? India is the worst country imaginable. I mean, there's 1 million children die of dysentery, diarrhea, and pneumonia there each year. And they could cure it for like 15 cents a kid with salts. Savages, eh? Do you ever see their shit parade they have? They cake themselves in crap, like cow's crap, right? Hard cases. And they're going to give them what? A breeder reactor. And they just fired it up. How long before that melts down, I wonder? And because you're using plutonium, uranium, you can't contain the emissions from it. On top of that, it's a breeder reactor. It's designed to produce isotopes. So all they want to do is harvest the plutonium. Everything else can be released directly into the environment, and will be. India's first prototype, the word prototype should terrify you, fast breeder reactor achieved criticality, marking a significant boost for the country's nuclear program, which is death sentence for the rest of the planet, including them. India currently has 9 gigawatts of nuclear capacity for 24 nuclear plants. 24. So they're all less than half a gigawatt, which are mainly pressurized heavy water reactors. Like a breeder reactor is perfect. You want to make a whole bunch of nuclear bombs. The Indian government wants to expand nuclear capacity to 100 gigawatts. Will they get around that after to make a whole bunch of nuclear bombs? Just say it. You know that's true. They're obsessed with it. The people are starving to death. They can't eat nuclear bombs, and no one bothered telling the government that. I said, oh, we need more. Oh, we need more, right? Pakistan's right there. They use uranium plutonium mixed oxide fuel. It's designed to generate more fuel than it consumes. Now, we've heard this song and dance how many times? Does anybody really think India is more technologically advanced than, say, United Kingdom and France and stuff like that? They didn't crack the code. It does this by using a blanket of uranium-238 that's surrounded by the reactor's core, absorbs the neutrons, is transmuted into fission plutonium-239. But see, they can only contain about 15% of it after the process, because the first part is the fuel cycle. So then it's not going to be making that in when it's being used to make power too, right? As a byproduct, you're using the water, you need to cool it. And so once you take it out, now it's a perpetual machine, the fuel is. And so they'll harvest perpetually. And so the more they create, the more they can harvest. That's what they're talking about doing. But there's no way to contain it. In order to harvest it, you have to release this a catastrophic amount. So the reason they don't exist today is because they're equal to nuclear meltdowns, the releases from this fuel. We can't even contain the normal stupid fuel. And everywhere this has been tried has been a catastrophic event. The Manchu reactor in Japan, the Santa Susana, the Idaho National Laboratories, Hanford. There's so many of these places where this has backfired on them and everybody else on the planet in a catastrophic way. It's idiotic that they're doing it. We don't need it. We can't use the weapons anyway. And nuclear emissions are the worst thing we can do to a planet. Carbon is the best thing. More insects, more birds, more species, more pizzas. Nuclear engineer far more radioactivity inside the spent fuel ponds at the top of the buildings. So there was around 3,450 spent fuel assemblies, around 1,800 pounds each at Fukushima. Let's see, they're at the top of these 190-foot buildings, so the buildings are not 190 foot no longer, so they're invisible, but they're up there. Don't worry, nothing got out. Here's the proof right here, look. And you won't find this picture anywhere else. You know, 8 years ago, maybe 6 years, I can't remember. There was a pit, like I'm a pack rat for information. And I like collecting all the pictures from the nuclear industry, as long as I can remember now. And there was this one picture, it was very high quality. And when I was collecting the picture, I was like, wow, that's a high quality picture right there. That's money. And that was an accident. After that, you were never able to download the picture from their web pages. And I was able to zoom in and extrapolate this kind of stuff in very high quality. And that is the most terrifying thing, because underneath that, this is what it actually looks like. They lost 18 reactor cores just in these two buildings. Don't worry, though, the experts for everything says like some bananas. He didn't stand on top of the 30 million one-ton bags and say that they're harmless. To build nuclear faster, the Energy Department pitches bypassing environmental laws. They got AI, Dana. They got AI, man. AI is, you know, it'll figure it out. Don't need nuclear scientists no more. AI will figure it out way quicker than any inbreed scientist can. To build nuclear faster, we'll get to that story coming up after this one. We already had it, are we? You know, is game on that quick? Department of Energy proposed to exempt advanced nuclear reactors. They're already doing it. The Nuclear Regulatory Agency, instead of getting 400 people to review a license, is using AI. So you just put 400 people out of a job. And that's just that one thing alone. Fast tracking. That's what fast tracking means. Because if you do an environmental study, right, environmental impact study, then you can't have the nuclear reactor. Well, I mean, the people there are just going to lie, but they actually done it. Advanced nuclear reactors are smaller. They're faster. They can leap tall buildings. And they don't exist. Did I mention that part too? And there's so many memorandum of understandings for small modular reactors. It cracks me up, particularly in Canada. And Canada's like one of the worst imaginable for pro-nuclear mind-numbing bullshit. Advanced nuclear reactors are smaller, but they don't exist. They can't be smaller if they don't exist. But, like, hang on. I'll show you. There is 3 small modular reactors. I'll show it to you. The official 3 small modular reactors. Oh, there, Lucas has it. I'm getting better at this. I'm so proud of myself. So here's China's small modular reactor, the HCP-100. She's pretty, isn't she, boy? When you want to take that home to your parents, Mama, Papa, I want to marry this reactor. She's special. But the big duck over there, the blue one, blue, white, and red, the Ruskies, that's actually around 15-story building. That's don't worry though, that's the academic. That's a small modular reactor. These are small modular reactors. And the other one is the Canadian, the boiling water, the BWRX-300, the Canadian tiny, microscopic, small modular, massive reactor. She's a big boy. She's 24 stories. They're going to make it smaller by putting half of it underground, 12-story underground. Then it's a small modular reactor, right, Dana? Oh, absolutely, 100%. You can put that on the back of any truck and lug it around. That's the 3 small modular reactors that they'll put in the media. Well, Russia's got one. China just finished one. Canada got one. It's a small modular reactor. Now, if they had a small modular reactor, we wouldn't be building these, would they? They wouldn't be selling them. They wouldn't be promoting them, would they? Huh? Oh, not so quick now, huh? Don't worry, I'm practicing for my new career as a comedian. I'll be doing shows in all the major cities right across the country, down to America and then around the world. All the money we raise, and there's going to be lots, is going to be donated to a legal fund full of anti-nuclear lawyers who are going to hunt down perpetrators and charge them with crimes against humanity and move on to the next couple of thousand until we got them all. We're going to lobby all the Congress and parliaments and diets worldwide to make it a capital punishment to promote nuclear. To build nuclear faster, Energy Department pitches bypassing environmental laws. Hey, if you're evil, might as well just yell it out loud and just own it, baby. More efficient and a passive safety features that did not exist when America's largest nuclear reactors were built. So advanced nuclear reactors are smaller, more efficient. You got passive safety features. But they're not small. They're bigger than Fukushima's reactors. The Canadian reactor is 240 feet. That's 24 stories. Fukushima reactors are 190 feet. That's 50 feet taller. 5 stories taller than the itty-bitty small modular reactors. Look at the size of this monster. And like everything with Grinder is the is necessary for the small modular reactor they can put on the back of a 1-ton truck and drop it off in the middle of nowhere and give everybody power, Dana. It's amazing. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see it. Then you'll see, Dana. Critics, NEPA leads to frivolous lawsuits and delays, but supporters of the law argue it gives local communities a voice on energy projects. That's wonderful. Department of Energy, who never takes no for an answer. Well, yes, 240 feet tall, but we're going to call it a small modular reactor. So therefore, it meets the criteria for funding. It's illegal. It'll be illegal to criticize small modular reactors in the very near future. Worldwide, right around the entire planet. AI will hear, somebody's phone will pick up your voice, and you'll get a ticket in the mail. And you have to go to re-education camps every weekend. Except for Christmas, of course. With electricity demand surging because of power plants, data centers, the only reason electricity is surging is because of data centers. So the Department of Energy filed regulatory changes that money to establish a categorically exclusion from authorization, sitting, construction, and operation. A categorical exclusion from authorization. So in other words, ding, next, rubber stamp, rubber stamp. That can be done by a robot. Reauthorization. So it's automatic, right? You don't have to worry about messy old inspectors coming around. Decommissioning. Don't worry about it. There's lots of homeless out there yet. A lot more coming. Of advanced nuclear reactors that don't exist. In its filing, the Department of Energy argued that decades of research and improved safety features in advanced reactors justified circumventing the typical environmental review process. Yeah, they're smaller, they're more efficient, they got all kinds of passive and also they don't exist, so it doesn't really matter. We'll just pass law, you don't have to worry about it. Advanced nuclear prototypes. That's the scariest sentence imaginable. So the prototypes should be done in a secured area because prototypes typically break down. That's what they call them, prototype, by the way, because they're exempt from malfunctions. In this case, though, you contaminate the entire planet in less than 20 days. And reduce risk in fuel disposal. Reduce risk. Yeah, they got a company now out there that we've been covering their in madness for quite a few years. And deep boreholes. They're going to just drill a hole, drop a couple of assemblies down there, and fill her in. We don't need to mark it. It's pretty deep. It'll be okay. And reduce risk in fuel disposal. They never disposed of any fuel yet, unless they released it into an environment and poisoned every species on the planet. Staggering growth projections for electricity demand, driven largely by artificial intelligence data center. The staggering growth projections for electricity demand is driven largely by, say it with me, artificial intelligence data center. We got to have them. We can't put everybody out of a job. We don't have them everywhere. They got to be everywhere. You have to collect everybody's data so we can make everybody useless. We need their data to know they exist. We need to know what they're doing, and then we can have a solution, a robot or AI to replace them. It's going to be great. And the chicken X and the weirdos, the rejects, and the policy making of all of this are going to become redundant themselves. It'll be too late for them and too late for us. Administration views advanced nuclear plants with more fuel-efficient reactors with small modular designs. They view that as a necessity, not geothermal, which can do anything a small modular reactor might do at some point in the future. Geothermal could do it right now. You have it up and running in a couple of weeks. A couple of months, not a couple of years, not a couple of decades, but a couple of months. Oh, no, it won't work, Dan. It's got to be a small modular reactor. Yeah, but it doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't matter, but that's what it's got to be. This is what is written in the book. But the people are falling for it. People are literally incapable of being rational for some reason. What I'm going to do actually is buy 100 robots, teach them my routine, and send them out in every direction to do comedy shows. And I'll update them every day with a new comedy show. I'll just sit home and direct the traffic. The technology isn't yet at commercial scale. Technology isn't yet existing, is a better way to put that, I think, isn't it? That exists. You got no solution for that, but you got to come up with more of it. You got to make more of it. We'll get it at some point, Dan. Yeah, it could take a couple hundred more years. We'll figure it out. There won't be any species on the planet, but it's a small price to pay for the nuclear industry to get their way. It is. It really is. It's the only way forward. Stop saying geothermal, you crazy man. It'll be illegal to say geothermal in a couple of years a bit. Advanced nuclear reactors can use more highly enriched fuels. So this is how they're going to get rid of their fuels, that cycle. Fuel material they gathered up for the last 80 years that are splitting atoms all day into your environment. And if you were able to visually see it, you'd lose your mind. You would lose your mind. I don't care who you are. You would lose your mind. If you had all the uranium, plutonium, and americium, neptunium, strontium, and curium isotopes, and iodines and everything else were different colors, I wouldn't be able to see my finger in a lot of times. Advanced is just the energy they're producing every second, is what I should have said in that. Each atom is pulsing energy at the speed of light in every direction. Every second for millions of years. It never goes away, and you've been releasing it into the environment for 80 years. Since little boy and fat boy were little babies. Advanced nuclear reactor designs, including small modular reactors that don't exist, can be manufactured at a factory that don't exist and assembled where the power is needed, rather than relying on a unique design for each power plant. Well, why do that when you can just do geothermal? You can dig down anywhere with the technology you've got and tap into it and produce more heat than you can with a small modular reactor. Why is the word nuclear in the equation of power anyway? Why would it be? Well, you need the fuel for the fuel that they're talking about is plutonium mixed oxide fuel, which means they can make more bombs out of it, more depleted uranium munitions out of it. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. It's not crazy if you're in the nuclear industry. That is what they're trying to do. Well, the technology has generated hype and investment. Investment! If they get any kind of news in the nuclear industry, stocks go up everywhere. That's what news is all about, is creating a stock cycle. And then it ebb and flow every 3, 4, 5 weeks. Stocks go up, stocks coming back down. Stock goes up a few weeks later. Stocks come back down a few weeks later. Well, the technology's generated hype and investment. Billions and 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 tens of billions, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars thrown at it to tell it haven't figured it out. If you took that and had put it in a geothermal, there wouldn't be a person on the planet worried about energy a long time ago. It's not maybe. If you took all the money wasted on small modular reactors, fusion reactors, cold fusion, fission reactors, and put even a fraction of it into geothermal, nobody would need any electricity anywhere on the planet a long time ago. It's absurd how real that statement actually is. It exists. Small modular reactors doesn't exist, so what are we talking about? Because the industry is desperate for anything to do with a nuclear renaissance, and any kind of nuclear renaissance. Whether it's for batteries, for your bicycle light, or they don't care. If you go with a stupid idea, you'll get all the funding you ever wanted. If you're crazy enough to go do it. Just to cause another slight rise in stocks of the nuclear industry. They're completely detached from any kind of rationale whatsoever, and they're a hindrance now to the survival of our species from the radioactive fallout from 1,000 fuel pools. Department of Energy proposes exemptions of a technology that has no established safety track record. Funny, you get some lucid sentence in it, right? But why would you consider nuclear when you can have geothermal? What's the point? What's the point? The technology that exists, for instance, just normal obsolete technology like pneumatic hammers, pneumatic, like water-driven jet slicers, water jet slicers. So they, but 25,000 pounds per square inch water jets. And they slice steel. They've been doing this since the 50s. If you put that down when you're drilling, you can slice up all the rocks, and a pneumatic hammer can crush it even smaller. And then a vacuum line and water, the water that's being used, will help you just draw up all the crushed up pulverized rocks. And the fact that you're using water jets, you can guarantee there'll be no big pieces coming up. And that's 6, 10, 15 times quicker than the best conventional drilling method they're using. Don't fix it if it's not broken. So why are we trying to develop? Got 100 companies trying to develop small modular reactors. Got 100 companies, well-funded 100 companies, incredibly funded, with any university they want at their fingertips to help them. And you still can't figure it out. And that's going on all day, every day. You got fusion, where they're like 5,000 of the smartest PH and nuclear engineers and everybody else. Major wages all day long. They're living a life of luxury. They have catering. They have gyms. They have all kinds of lounges, fully decked out, full paid vacation because it's such a stressful job trying to come up with fusion. We took that same people and put them to work on resolving the basic stuff for deep geothermal and then mass produce that so anybody can go to the local shop and buy it. Every community could be up and running in 1 year. Powering themselves with geothermal. We're not going to. Why aren't we doing that? Oh, by the way, that was reactor 3. Well, it was. That was a plutonium mixed oxide reactor. Same one India just got up. Same thing as the small modular reactors. It cooked off around 200,000 degrees hotter because it's plutonium, uranium fumes that were being produced originally. And so when spark, the hydrogen, Fukushima was pressure reactors. So they were at over 1,000 pounds per square inch. They need a 6.45 million one-ton pickup trucks every day. They need 4,500 one-ton pickup trucks every minute. 70 pickup trucks passing your doorstep every second. Try crossing the street. That water is not necessary in 24 hours to keep the reactors cool. So when they don't get 6,450,000, which is a row of one-ton pickup trucks around the entire planet, dumped into it every 24 hours, and pressure bills. And bam! It blew up. It ejected the entire inventories into the sky where there's no water, and oxygen and zirconium will ignite. And that's what we've seen in the documentation. U.S. lab lab, uses lasers, nice little tongue twister, heat to map neptunium, which decays to plutonium after 2.5 days for 239, for producing deep space nuclear fuel. Absolutely vital. Gotta have it. Such as NASA's Perseverance rover. NASA's already blown up some of these satellites on the way up and contaminated the entire planet. That's why we got this fancy-looking pole. Should NASA, another a-hole, be defunded for contaminating all species on Earth with plutonium from the failed launches? I gotta be the only site on the planet that don't get any views. I do consistent shows, for the most part, all these years. I get no views. I get nothing. I'm hated. They hate my guts. They despise me. I think they said I'll never be anybody. That's what they say about me. I'll never be anybody. I'll never, ever have any groups watching me. No matter where I'm to, I'll be censored. They've told me that. You can go watch the videos. They're not pleasant. Not pleasant videos. But if you come into my video section, we're on the live section right now, right? And if you're here, you might as well go down and start watching that stuff here. Watch those videos and then stand tall with me. We go to my videos and scroll down. And Operation Long Jump. You see that video there, a picture with the scope in the background? You click on that. That's Japan saying how they're going to destroy me. I didn't realize it at the time what they were going to do to me. There was an incredible smear campaign. And they won. They definitely done it to me, man. Holy shit. They took it beyond anything I could imagine. They got Thunderfoot helped them. TEPCO hired Thunderfoot. I didn't understand what they meant by wouldn't want to be you. Well, I knew when I went public what was going to happen to me. It is what it's going to be. There's nothing I can do about it. Only keep doing and telling and explaining and teaching the truth. That's the best I could do. So yes, now see, because this camera, so this stalker from TEPCO, he'll name himself, has been stalking me for over 10 years. Usually every show he stalks me. But he's paid by the industry to attack me. He'd do it for free, this guy. He legitimately hates me. But he's not your average piece of shit. He's a very well-funded piece of shit. The aperture is stuck open. I can't do pictures. I can only do videos. He's been tormenting me for years. And if I accidentally click a picture, he's been tormenting me for years. So I can be pretty rude to somebody that's rude and ignorant and disgusting and parasitic like this. So it ain't going to be pretty. You have to take the lens off, restart the camera, click a picture. That'll leave it open. Turn the camera off, then put the lens back on and only use video, right? So when you're zoomed way in over to that island, because that's one of our study groups for field studies. Wait for it. I'll get a phone call in a moment. And it's good enough, like ideally, the theory was I could shoot the video. I think that's Calm Down Charlie. Should we give it a try? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Dino.
Who's this?
Tokyo Bureau. How are you?
Is this the Tokyo Bureau Chicago Division?
Indeed, yes. Mr. Dino,
how do you like my T-shirt I got for you? Do you like my T-shirt?
Friend of Tokyo Bureau.
Do you like that?
Tell you about friend of Tokyo Bureau.
You fuck Tokyo Bureau. Fuck you too, you piece of shit. You shut your pie hole.
He know a lot more than you.
Who do?
You're stupid, man. He a friend of Tokyo Bureau. and he is instrumental in helping us launch Operation Long Jump.
How do you spell that?
Operation Long Jump.
How do you spell
Mr.
it?
Dana.
How do you spell it?
Oh.
How do you spell it?
Huh?
How do you spell that? Long jab.
Huh?
Long
What do you
jab?
say?
Did you say long jab?
Long Jump.
Long jab.
No. Operation Long Jump. Get it right, Mr. Dana.
Long jab?
Long Jump.
Did you
Sure,
order
silly
one of my
man.
T-shirts I made for you? You probably got the pink. You probably got the pink one, right?
Stop avoiding the situation.
What do you want, scumbag?
With Tokyo Bureau advisor and friend,
Yeah.
Mr. Thunderfoot, you're gonna be finished. You're gonna be finished, Mr. Dana.
I'm all shook up, eh? I'm so scared of you.
You should be. Oh, I would love to be in your shoes. Oh, you make me sick.
Hey, what are you going to be when you grow up?
Okay, sit tight, Mr. Dana.
What are you going to be when you grows up?
Sit tight. We'll be with you soon.
I heard.
See you later, Mr. Dana.
What are you going to be when you grow up? I heard you're going to be a big prick just like me. Which means you haven't got far to go, actually, do you? So there's an interesting threat. They're going to come out and challenge me, are they? That should be fun. I screwed up there. So, calm down, Charlie. Ishida Mashada, the goat molester. Researchers at Oak Ridge National Laboratory are studying neptunium, a rare radioactive element, and serves as a primary building, because it decays, it serves as the primary building blocks for plutonium-238 used to power long-range spacecrafts. Get your calm down, Charlie. Sorry. Plutonium-powered batteries are the only viable solution to sustaining scientific instruments. Just hang on a second, I get it. It's the only viable. Well, I guess you can't use geothermal in space. Nuclear is just a horrific thing to do to the space, right? It's not. It's man-made. It's not created by the suns or the stars, right? And so we don't have a right to release it into that ecosystem, despite the size of the ecosystem. Right? We need some real thinkers, not the industry, to debate that, the significance of that. Imagine taking nuclear, you find a planet with 8 million species, which is my fear. The first thing I'm going to do is bring a nuclear reactor and set it up there, and then eventually all the species will be exterminated. It could take 100 years, could take 10 years. But the radioactive fallout will wipe out everything eventually. Because that's the burden and the crime of man-made. Radioactive fallout. I got that. Oh, there it is. Is where it's supposed to be. Hang on a second. I'll bring it up for you in a second here. I'm going to put a link in the description for you in a minute, so you can look up this stuff yourself. I'll put it in there first. So there's a link I'm going to put in the description. Oh, screwed that up. There's a link in the description of the live chat. And it'll take you to this page. And so there's plutonium and americium, for instance, right there, right? And curium right alongside of it. So 238, it's got a 87-year half-life. So if you're shipping it into space, and then its next isotope is 234 uranium. It's got a half-life of 45,000 years, so there's 10 half-lives. Multiply that by 10, right? But because it takes a long time to decay from 238, once you start the chain reaction, they're dependent upon producing a lot of plutonium-238, which has an 87.8-year half-life. So it all decays down in 870 years, but because they're going to be producing it with the 238 and plutonium, it's basically a breeder reactor. But 87 years, that's a long time, right? Demand exceeds supply, hence we need to have a greater understanding of neptunium chemistry to support the production of 238. So they're not even sure. So if you come to neptunium, which is MP, and you click on 238, what's the half-life? 1 minute. And where is this descending? What is it descending from? So, yeah, not that one, but the next one. Allowed also show decay chains leading to the isotope. So, 232 americium, 228 plutonium. It's got a half-life of 1.3 minutes. It's coming from not this one, but the other one. 1 second. I lost track what I'm trying to do. Sorry. To demand, so like to support, we need to have a greater understanding of neptunium chemistry to support the production of the plutonium. So what they're using is, they would like to do this, but they need to study neptunium. So that's what that story is all about, them getting a permanent fund from the government, from the taxpayers, to study neptunium, which is a big problem, clearly, but look at that chain. And just one more time, neptunium, I just want to see. Neptunium, let's do that one more time. Let me get rid of... Yeah, hide it. I screwed it up now altogether. I'm not too familiar with that one. But anyway, I can show you what happened at Fukushima, but I'm not. We gotta keep moving here. I was just trying to work out what was the scam, right? So the scam was, they're going to use that to go into space. And they need funding, though, because they don't know enough about the production of neptunium. They need to study it. They've studied every isotope, every country in the world, and every university that can get funding done it. They studied it hundreds of millions of times or hundreds of millions of dollars on any isotope you can think of in the last 80 years. It's absurd. At 4.3 million studies produced each year, how much goes into the nuclear industry? They study that more than they study. The process involves systematically breaking down neptunium using controlled heat between 150 and 600 degrees. Thermal decomposition unlocked the chemical secrets of neptunium. So this was just a way for them to get funding. I don't give a fuck. Excuse me, we don't give a shit about that. That's a fake story and fake picture. because the laboratories, they're very inventive, right? And they put it out in the media so it looks legitimate, but it's not. It's just they're getting their hands on money. Look, everything's about weapons anyway. If the revolution was tritium-3H, which turned out to be the most prolific byproduct of radiation, because all your water on the planet now is tritiated, which is a little bit different, but it's from the tritium-3. It's the tritium-3H by-effect, right? Because radiation. So say it pipes at a nuclear power plant, right, that are highly radioactive. Any moisture, the moisture every night and snow and rain and everything becomes tritiated, becomes radioactive. So it's much more dangerous than, say, a screwdriver. You magnetize a screwdriver heavily, and you stick it in a bowl of nuts and bolts and washers, small, overnight, say. And then next day, you can take a clump of them and they'll stick together because they're magnetized. Radiation has that same kind of effect in your ecosystem where it radiates everything. And even when it, like in the anthropogenic man-made isotopes themselves, when they decay to, say, radioactive lead, they're still considered radioactive lead, but they say, well, it's such a weak pulse of energy that we consider it harmless. Yeah, but you're scumbags with a history of being scumbags and serial killers upon our planet. It's because even when it's radioactive lead, it's still radioactive lead. So it's still capable of harboring, destroying bacteria and fungus, which is the basis to the ecosystem. So these are things that can't be left out of the equation and can't be denied. The problem is the emissions from the fuel, which is perpetual. These are perpetual machines. They're splitting atoms, releasing it. You can't contain it. So there's 1,000 fuel pools or more worldwide that are doing that alone. And that there's no species on the planet with an autoimmune trigger that can defend against it. So one more time. The fuel pool is where you put in your decades of reactor cores. You're taking parts of reactor cores every year and a half, 12 months, 14, 18 months, and putting 1/3 of it in a fuel pool. It's still splitting atoms for 300,000 homes. Normally the reactor core is splitting fuel for millions of homes and businesses, right, the boiling water. So atoms are what's being produced to get the heat. That's still being produced when you take it out and put it in the fuel pool, but it's not under pressure, it's not under heat, it's creating its own heat, there's no containment, and that is released directly into the environment up tall, skinny plants, stacks at nuclear power plants. And maybe that's why almost every nuclear power plant on the planet is surrounded by farms. But the plumes are, each one of them producing plumes that will cover your planet in about 20 to 30 days. Once it starts, it's a continuous plume. It's absorbed into every species, every tree, every leaf, every branch. The tips of every tip on a tree is full up with that because that's where it ends up to. The root system is destroyed or is assimilated with it, radioactive fallout, and that way you're attacking all the bacteria, all the fungus, all the biota in your soils worldwide. So ultimately you expect to see a lot of flash floods because the soil can't suck up water anymore because you got rid of the bacteria, the fungus, and the biota, which breaks down the litter and the foliage. Which means that's the same stuff that wafers up now because it's tender dry, shouldn't exist. The millions of microscopic animals and bacteria and fungus should have broke it down because the radioactive fallout, as history showed us, will wipe that out in increments, and Japan was a pulse event. So that's symmetrical around the whole planet. That's your biggest enemy right now, plus every nuclear power plant is surrounded by farms as far as you can see. I'll just give you a quick example, and hopefully you'll appreciate why I'm so concerned about that. And why you should be, and why everybody should be. Like I'm not the bad person here for showing you and providing you with the evidence and the documentation. I take it to a different level. I work fingers to the bones, because I get it. And you will too if you stay and watch this stuff. You'll get it. Everybody can learn it. It's easy. I make it easy. Not bragging, not blowing my own whistle. Okay, a little bit maybe. So the question is, why is every nuclear power plant surrounded by farms? What's up with that? What's that all about? Are you out to get us? Is it a coincidence? Do you hate us? Is it an accident? Are you trying to kill us? What is going on? Why don't you like us? What did we do to you? We gave you all the money, all the tax breaks. Why are you so hard to get along with? What's your problem, mister? Chicken neck. So why is almost every single nuclear power plant, except for a few, surrounded by farms? Like it'll blow your mind, because it's on purpose. It's meant to poison you. It can't contain the emissions from the fuel pools. The fuel in a pool is a perpetual machine. It's still producing the atoms for millions of homes and businesses with no containment. That has to be released directly into the environment. You see those tall, skinny stacks in the background? They're pumping. Each fuel pool is boiling off about 120,000 liters a day, because that's what the fuel does. It produces heat. And your problem is not that it's so dangerous being in proximity to it because it's underwater, but it's boiling off 120,000 liters in each of the pool. There's 1,000 pools worldwide. And those atoms, instead of powering 1 million homes and businesses, or 8 million homes and businesses, depending on how old the fuel pool is, that's what's coming out of it every day. You can pretend it's not. You can live with that fantasy. I can't. That's a nightmare. That'd be a snowstorm right there. If you were right there right now and you can see radiation, it would be a snowstorm. And that snowstorm will cover the entire planet just from that one source. And there's 1,000 of those sources. And they know better than to grow food in a nuclear wasteland. They got an absurd amount of studies. There's no way they can miss this one. They absolutely unequivocally understand that tomatoes and grapes and every vegetable, every potato, every fruit tree is sucking up the radiation. They know that. They have no illusions about it. They have thousands and hundreds of thousands of studies knowing that. So then the question is, why are they doing it? They know it's dangerous. They know it's easily assimilated in your body. The original charters of these companies were they wouldn't release a single atom. Nothing. Nada. We'll get off the site. We have big Geiger counters. Everybody takes a shower. Remember those days? Everybody leaves their boots behind. They'll show and tell. They get you, and eventually you drop your guard, and then they got you. Irreversible heart damage for children with 50 atoms a kilogram. Now, you can pretend that that's not real all you want. You really can. That's a serious mistake that your loved ones and your friends and families will probably not live to regret. Here you go. Cancer for you. Here you go. Bone tumors for you. Here you go. Lung cancer for you. Here you go. Liver cancer for you. Have a nice day. Next. Big tech is betting on nuclear energy to fuel artificial intelligence. The ultimate insult, eh? There are some massive hurdles, like they don't exist. We got to do it. We got to work it out. It doesn't matter how many people's lives we got to sacrifice. We got to have it. Yeah, there's no more whales. The whales are almost all gone now. They all starved to death after Fukushima. Everyone you're seeing is weighing 1/10 of what a whale should weigh. Every one of them are showing up like skeletons on your beaches. No, seriously, like skeleton on your beaches. No, they are skeletons on your beaches. No fat, no blubber. No muscle, just organs, skin, and bones. Over the past year, nuclear power has re-entered the conversation, hailed as a way to advance the energy-hungry AI technology. Everybody's light and power bill are going up so they can have AI data centers. Right? They suck up all the energy. Like if they didn't exist, your energy bill wouldn't even be half of what it is. Without devastating the planet, it's only going to get worse because they need more of this, more of that. They need more of these, more of those. They need more and more and more. They need them everywhere. So tech companies are going nuclear, announcing plans to add more reactors. Well, why do we have to pay for it? All who battle to secure as much data center power. Data center, you know what's in a data center? All of your fucking information, every bit of it. That's what he needs it. You're the commodity. Your data is the recyclable commodity that they want. It doesn't work without all your data. They need you online all the time so they can have as much data as they can get. All out battle secure as much data center power as possible, one up each other's AI ambitions, one up each other's. Yeah, we got to use up all electricity. People are going to have to pay a fortune to turn the lights on in their home, but we're going to have the best of the best technology to harvest all your data. You only got enough electricity to use your computer and your iPhones. That's it. You want to read, you got to use the light on your iPhone. And one up each other's AI ambitions. That's so reassuring. Meta / Weirdo last month signed a new deal to expand 3 nuclear disease factories to power its data center. It's also planning to reopen an abandoned Illinois reactor. And meanwhile, Microsoft plans to reopen Pennsylvania 3 Mile. Nearly half a century after the infamous partial meltdown. They always like put that there. Partial meltdown at the plant. Amazon and Google have also invested in new reactor tech. There is no new reactor tech. All the designs are based on the original 1920 designs, right? The 1904 designs for fusion are the same technology they're trying to bring to fruition today, 120 years later. But Westinghouse's last reactor in Georgia didn't fare so well. Yeah, 7 years late, 18 billion over budget. Bankrupted the company, but he still got one working. What was it? Wattsboro took 44 years to finally get that to run. They got it though. There's some hard cases, eh? They're constantly trying to get. The Philippines had built one reactor, but then Chernobyl happened, right? And they said, okay, we're not doing it. And ever since 1986, every year there's been a huge amount of push to try to get that reactor back up, or not back up, but actually running. It's never ran, right? They never put fuel in it, but it's basically finished. Yeah, they got it updated. That's not unusual. Every nuclear plant spends over $100 million a year just on maintenance. Like $300,000 a day on maintenance. You better do your maintenance. Major hurdles to growing. It's just stupid. If you had geothermal, you wouldn't have any of these issues. The only reason you can't have geothermal is because nuclear industry won't be able to exist, so they're going to make sure you can't have it. Not even in the conversation. Then there's the potential public panic over Chernobyl happening in their backyards. Plus, everything rests on new technology known as the small modular reactors, which is still in development, completely unproven. Yeah, nice to put that there at the end of it. AI needs an unimaginable amount of energy to power all of your data. Centers. Centers, yeah, center. So there. Meta last month signed a new deal to expand 3 nuclear power plants to power its data center. It also planned to reopen the abandoned Illinois reactor. Meanwhile, Microsoft plans to reopen Pennsylvania. We already covered it, Dana. What's wrong with you, boy? Sometimes I'm asleep at the switch when I'm reading the stories. According to Goldman Sachs analysts, big shot tech companies would need 85 to 90 gigawatts of new nuclear capacities. It's basically how much the Americans got there right now. but just 10% of it will be available in 2030. So you got to get rid of the people so you can use the gigawatts they got, see? Nuclear energy is a realistic, well-suited option for data centers. I tell you what. Only issue is timing. New nuclear would take decades to deploy. They need it now, right now. Only geothermal can fill that gap. We don't want geothermal. We should lobby government not to be able to use any energy for data centers. Only car batteries, 12-volt car batteries. That'll keep them in check, see? And sustainability solution, we're going to steal car batteries out of people's cars and hate these guys. New nuclear would take years to deploy. Like the cancer plume from the death plume. So people finally ran away after Dick Thornburn led them. He didn't want people to panic because it would look bad on the nuclear industry, so he wouldn't panic. He wouldn't let them run away. But after a few days, some prevalence of sanity interacted and said, well, you should get pregnant women out and little children, because if they start dying all of a sudden in a couple of weeks or years, it's going to look bad on us. And so they let them run away. But anyway, it was like 170,000 people or something. Don't quote me, I can't remember the exact number. So a lot of homes, anyway, were abandoned in the summertime, left the doors and windows open. When they came back, all their pets were blind or dead. They moved in, they were like, okay, everything's good. Poor doggy got a bad dose. Poor kitty cat. They still couldn't comprehend it. In fact, what they done at 3 Mile Island was the first, really public meltdown in North America. And people actually went to 3 Mile Island to see what it looked like. Drove right into the plume. Excellent trained slaves right there, I tell you what. They even sold T-shirts, I survived 3 Mile Island. They had to sell them later for the cancer payments. But it all rests on unproven small modular reactors. So all of this tonight is based upon something that doesn't exist. And this is not the first time we've done this. So yes, I'm stupid. Why am I crying about something that don't exist? Because it's displacing stuff that does, like geothermal. He's a maniac. I'm trying to be chippy and cheery tonight on purpose. I'm paying for it, though. All my muscles are aching. Hello, everybody. I had 13 people on my show tonight. Where the hell did we get all those people to? It all rests on unproven small modular reactors. So no matter how many chicken eggs they put to work on this, they couldn't figure it out. It's really incredible. All scientists wouldn't put down their video games, right? Get the job done, see? Thank God for video games. They can be manufactured in a factory, making them easier to scale, deploy across the grid nationwide. Yeah, but they don't exist. One glaring problem, they have never been deployed at scale anywhere on the planet. It's still in its costly, that's downplaying it, development phase, and there's no guarantee they'll ever actually get deployed at utility scale because that hasn't been done before. Danger. Alison McFarlane. Remember when she was with the Nuclear Regulatory Agency, she pissed me off. And I went after her with a big video. I didn't hold back either. And she quit the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and got a job at the University of British Columbia, Canada, shortly after my video. I'm not saying I'm the cause of it, but I wouldn't be surprised because I had a pretty convincing video. And that was the smartest thing she's ever done. Who chaired the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission in the 2010s, 2011, 2012s. Writes that after Meathead, what's his name? I can almost see his name there, but I can't for some reason. Thank goodness. A couple of years after the other idiot sold us out. And the fact that they currently do not exist are unproven. McFarlane also raised the issue of waste disposal. I think it was 5 times more high-level waste than a typical reactor, and 30 times more intermediate level waste, which is incredibly dangerous stuff. High-level waste will melt your organs right away in a couple of moments. Intermediate level will kill you in a couple of weeks or a month or a year. McFarlane also raised the issues of waste disposal. If we have reactors across the United States, where do we put the nuclear waste? Well, they don't put it anywhere. They just put it in these containers, let it vent into the environment 24 hours a day, the isotopes that are being created. The more nuclear waste, the more likely we are to have an extinction event. Has no long-term plan for nuclear waste disposal, nuclear disease factories waste disposal, has progressed towards a deep geological repository for disposal of high-level nuclear waste remains at an impasse. It's pretty painful stuff, isn't it? Amazon D and Google G. Nuclear plants are both focused on something that doesn't exist, not legacy reactors, but small modular reactors. Google says its deal is the world's first corporate agreement to purchase nuclear power from small modular reactors. We got it on the dotted line, which means jack shit if you don't have a small modular reactor. I should say geothermal. But the idea was to artificially inflate stocks. And so that was a big thing. Well, Google's getting agreements. You got to buy stocks. And you got to buy stocks right now. Small modular reactor. You got to do it right now. UltraSafe. No, they went bankrupt. Toshiba in North America. No, they went bankrupt. Ensure its first small modular reactor comes online by 2030. They're going to have reactors on the moon in 2028. It's all going to happen, Dan. It's all going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. 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 With more reactor deployment to follow by 2035. Everything's solved. Problem solved. 2035. Put it in your book. Take it to the bank. I said the same thing about 2025 and 2015, 2005, 1995, 1985, and 1975. That'll cure everything. You just got to have more of them. It'll cure everything. Like everybody got sick and heart problem, liver, lung cancer, respiratory, diabetes, everything was just exploded in the 1970s after all the nuclear bombs were detonated into the environment. Do you think more reactors is somehow a solution? Nuclear does. It's a solution to them getting a job and looking important to themselves in the mirrors every morning. They say, "Boy, I got to have some important kids have something important. Yeah, we know, Dad, you're important. No, I'm important. I'm in the nuclear industry. Yeah, Dad, we're really proud of you. Ma, tell Dad we're proud of him. Honey, get your glasses, go out there and wait for the taxi to pick you up. I can't drop you off today." However, McFarlane is not optimistic that the small modular reactors will ever happen, recommending investments in other proven energy sources such as wind, solar, and our best friend, geothermal. Your best friend, your best bloody friend. You're a friend of everybody. Geothermal, that's what geothermal. And battery storage, don't do that. Don't do that. You can use sand, right, to store 700 degree Fahrenheit temperatures for weeks. And you can convert that back into energy. Or lava rocks, you can store up to 3,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures in that puppy over and over and over, better than any lithium battery on the planet. And it would make the perfect lithium battery type application, right? If you can contain the heat, and we can contain the heat. Remember the guy who was from Ontario, Canada, and he used to do these goofy videos way back. YouTube was still jumping around in the nuts of his daddy at that time. And he built these suits and he'd go out and get a bear to attack him, right, in the woods. And he'd get hit by a pickup truck and get up again, ha ha ha. And it was indestructible. He was using it to spray on his house, on people's houses in areas to protect them from forest fires. 100%. Forest fire come raging through, it couldn't take that house out. The bear couldn't penetrate the suit with their big claws and the big teeth and all that power. Where's that? Get that guy. Get that fucking pat and get it out there. Make it happen. Geothermal is your solution. That's the solution, period. Ultimately, that's where you're going to end up. Small modular reactors are for suckers. Morons. People that have been tricked and deceived by the nuclear industry. If you bought stocks for small modular reactors, you should be suing the nuclear industry. That's the right thing to do. That's the proper thing to do. Sue all of these lawyers I point out for tricking, deceiving, manipulating, coercing you into taking your hopes and dreams and putting it into this fucking endless pit, this pump and dump. I didn't think I was going to make it this far, and I tell you the truth. I always do better once I'm sat here, because yelling about the nuclear industry seems to come pretty natural to someone like me. A good way to get rid of some steam. So I love this one. Small modular reactors are unlikely to be ready to meet significant electricity needs for another 20 years, give or take 40 or 50, by which time electricity markets will have evolved with cheaper storage, renewables more widely available, she wrote. Bless her heart, boy. She came over to the winning side. Nuclear power, particularly small disease factories, plutonium mixed oxide fuel on top of that, proves economically unfeasible investment in this sector will be for naught. So don't be stupid. The Rolls-Royce small modular reactor is 500 megawatts. It's the biggest small modular reactor you can imagine. Yeah, bigger in Canada, you saying? 240 feet tall? Yes. Canada is such a lost cause from the nuclear industry. I was cursed to be born in Canada for that particular, from what I do, right? Censorship on me is unbelievable. Well, I'm not looking for the smart people, so in that case I win. It remains to be seen if any country can go full nuclear. To power U.S. data centers with tech would require large scale. That's what I think saving our asses right now worldwide is small modular reactors. Don't exist. Otherwise, there'd be a data center up in your arse right now. Or next door to you, anyway. Would require large-scale, all-hands-on-deck deployment of currently non-existent small modular reactors. So why are we talking about it? I'm going to build a power source that fits in the trunk of your car, and it puts out energy and powers all the lights in your neighborhood. I haven't developed it yet, but we're going to do it. So we don't need small modular reactors, okay? If you want to put geothermal out there for the time being until he figures it out, that's good. But I'm going to make this. That's what they're selling you. We're going to get this little contraption working one day. You'll see. That's what they're saying. Believe in us. We've only been at it for 50 years, but we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out, and we don't need anything else because we're going to figure this out. You don't need nothing else. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're selling the world. A small modular reactor. Ha ha! They whack you over the head, take all your stocks. When you wake up, your 30, 40 years of savings is gone, or a big percentage of it. And they're getting a great big fancy swimming pool installed in the back of their garden because they already got 2 of them. In the meantime, the explosive growth of data centers will cause distress for the local residents and the planet. Because you're the target, you're the product, you're the fuel for the data center. What you do every second of your day, everything you do on the internet, is anything to do with connected. You want that data. If you're shopping, you're anything you hover over, anything you click on. They can sell that. That's money. That's cash. They can. Yeah, it's only pennies, but they got a lot of you out there, so they make a lot of money this way. They don't care about you. Well, they do. They'll give you the computer just to steal your data, right? Take your time. You can pay us when you get around to it. One has to wonder whether all of this is worth it just to date an AI chatbot. Touche. Degenerate Department of Energy awards 19 million advanced spent nuclear fuel recycling. The story is February the 6th. A lot of these stories are February the 6th, Dana. I know, right? It's crazy, isn't it? I haven't stopped producing shows when we were doing that other thing. Even when I'm not doing shows, we're still producing shows. I'm sick, I tell you. It's sick. I'm so sick. You know what I was going to change all of this tonight. I wasn't even going to do this tonight. At the last second, I had an epiphany that I was going to do a show from 2019, April 15th, for gigs. And people are like, this is not April 15, Dana. Yeah, it is. It's 2019. Because that's how sad and pathetic my life is. I actually done a show in 2019, April 15, 2020, April 15, 2021, April 15, 2022, April 15. I might do them all just for the whole week. The week of April 15, 2000 and something. The Department of Energy awarded $19 million of taxpayers' money to Alpha Nur Curio. I hate Curio with a passion. They're such arseholes, eh? Oaklaw, they're just degenerates, man. Shine Technologies, they research and develop recycling technology for spent nuclear fuel, which is illegal. It's illegal to do that in Canada and the United States. Oh, they changed the laws. Too late. No, there was no need to have a referendum. OpenAI raised $110 billion on February the 27th. And record funding. Now you to it. It's not anything. Wait till you see the next round. If that was geothermal, though, they'd be like, get out. Imagine if you got a geothermal idea and you raised $110 billion in your first round funding. It's on, baby. Good point, gas, oil, coal, nuclear. Welcome, geothermal. That's the way to do it. The things he done to his sister, according to his sister, are pretty perverted and sick and sadistic, and probably illegal. OpenAI announced Friday a massive, well, not when it comes to AI, $110 billion funding round valuing the ChatGPT market at $730 billion. With SoftBank, Movida, Amazon each making multi-billion-dollar commitments to the artificial intelligence companies' races to meet surging global demand. And the investment, so what does that tell us? They're committed. The investment round, and they're already in a position, that means all your electricity bills are going up. That's what that really means. The investment round, one of the largest in Silicon Valley history, includes $30 billion from the Japs, SoftBank, $30 billion from the chip giant, Movida. Oh, no better. Are they South Korea? I can't remember. Or Taiwan. And up to $50 billion from Amazon. Of course. $50 billion. Yeah, sure, why not? With additional investors expecting to join as the round progresses. Yep. Alongside the capital injection, OpenAI announced strategic partnerships with both Amazon, the world's biggest cloud company, and NVIDIA, whose AI chip remains unparalleled in their capacity for AI training. If this doesn't say you're being set up, what does, I wonder? The eye-watering level of funding reflects the soaring cost of computing power and comes amid lingering questions about whether OpenAI and other AI companies can generate sufficient revenue to cover the cost. They don't need it. They can walk away with tens of billions of dollars each, and it's just another .com gone down. They don't have the power facilities to power all of these data centers that they got in the pipeline. They can't build them because the neighborhoods now will just attack them right away when they see them going up. And the water they use is holy shit level. And it's shocking because water is your best friend. It should never be used in something like this. According to reports, these include OpenAI going public or achieving artificial general intelligence, a sometimes ill-defined standard of AI capabilities that more closely match human-level abilities. It's called a spooky. There's another name for it. What is it called? It's there's a name that's used to reference it. Thank goodness I can't remember it. My brain's too full of good stuff. Bear with me. Give us a thumbs up. You don't like making me thumbs up. I like making me thumbs up. Amazon Cloud Computing rival Microsoft, which did not participate in the funding round, doesn't need to. It can handle that. It can handle that like nothing. 2 journalists in Belarus imprisoned for part of a crackdown on free speech. In Belarus, you say? Got a 14-year sentence and another one with a 12-year sentence. The latest move in the government's crackdown on dissent and free speech. Repression against... I think all journalists should go to jail for at least 20 years. And then when they come out, they should be sent to Fukushima to clean it up. Then get a nice little bed up in J Village. Held the proceedings behind closed doors and details of the charges remain unclear. I think, no matter how much AI infiltrates, even though they don't have the power source to supply their wishes and their dreams, and they're a long way from that coming to fruition, because small modular reactors, everything's based on small modular reactors that don't exist. And they're persistent. They're covering all their bases. I'll give them credit. It's shocking, right, how many ways they're approaching this desperation to bring it to fruition. But there's no reasonable way you can expect this to come true. And the current versions, 3 of them, the Canadian, the Chinese, and the Ruskies, this version of small modular reactors are massive, which means they don't have a small modular reactor. That's as blatant as it gets, right? The 3 official small modular reactors are massive skyscrapers, including the one that's on the ocean. It's a 15-story building on a football pitch-sized barge. Nothing small about it. If they had a small, they wouldn't be doing that. If they had a small, they'd build it. If they had a small, it'd be in the press everywhere. If they had a small, there'd be no mystique behind it, right? There'd be no speculations. Held a proceeding behind closed doors and details of the charges remain unclear. Been there, done that one. Any dissent is harshly punished by authority. Tell me about it. I'm the personal punching bag of the nuclear industry. Following the 2020 election, it was widely seen as rigged. Hundreds of thousands took to the streets in protest, with more than 65,000 people arrested, thousands beaten, hundreds of independent media outlets, non-governmental organizations closed and outlawed. I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me. Oh, I'm sorry, non-governmental. Oops. A little technicality there. Well, that's my comedy routine that I showed you tonight. And we're going to get 100 robots, teach them that comedy routine, program them all in. And then they're going to spread around the world, walking in, doing stand-up comedy nights. I'll be on the screen. I'll have some more material. But we'll get the robots to do it. Because they don't drink beer and don't smoke. Following the 2020 election, right? I don't have to pay for toilet paper for them and shit like that. It's a win, right? National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurements. Hey, meet the scum of the earth. The lowest forms of life are these creeps. The National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurement is a list of serial killers, mass murderers, and traitors to humanity. As congressional charter under Title 36 United States Code does not employ any sort of oversight by the Congress, the nuclear regulatory agencies, and it's not a government entity. It's funded by the government, but it's not a government entity, and the government has no oversight over the nuclear industry. The only people that has any say in any country over the nuclear industry is the regulatory agencies. And there's a long list of yes and no's that they're allowed to even consider. And they ain't going to go buck the system. They got the job. They got appointed by the president of each country to those positions because they're the least troublesome people you can have in that job. They'll rubber stamp anything. I don't care what it is. And the media will regurgitate whatever lie they want to justify it with. Not up for debate. The worst humans conceivable. That's the nuclear industry. In and out, nonstop. These are absolutely demented, evil, twisted, and sadistic. And who do you see at the bottom of the first list? Kathryn Higley, a current president. Higley is literally a maggot. Right? If she wasn't born as a human, she would have been a maggot. She would have been some kind of parasite on humanity or a species. She was destined to be a parasite her whole life. And she's incredibly educated. It's a heinous education. Kathryn Higley, I'll play a little video of her. She wants you to cherish her. I mean, these people are just the most twisted, demented, heartless, soulless, spineless creatures you'll ever come across. Higley takes it to a different level. She specializes in being evil. We're a small group, and you should cherish us. And that's from Stanford University, or MIT, I can't remember anymore. That's TEPCO, the one-armed bandit, Miles O'Brien. She was at the NRC, didn't wait. And I don't know who the other guy was. And Higley herself, evil of evil people. She's talking about, this is a really important video clip. She's going to talk about how there's 100 people and they sit on all, like the NRCs, the IAEA or Unclear ERPA, the IPRC, and they're the same people on each of the committees and they make the decisions. And if you've seen the crimes that she's actually committed, you lose faith right away.
when I was trying to pull this talk together, not only will I sort of get a little philosophical about the impacts and the like and try to put things in context, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about who are these radiation experts that get trotted out in events like this, or that get to participate in various activities and analysis to make pronouncements about is something safe or not safe. And if you look, you'll see organizations that are often represented, the ICRP, International Commission on Radiological Protection, a premier organization. You'll see UNSCEAR and IRPA. So UNSCEAR is the United Nations Scientific Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation. IRPA, the International Radiation Protection Association. The IAEA and some of its folks, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Our own U.S. NCRP. And then there are a number of other organizations. So there's PAHO, there's the Health Physics Society, there's World Health Organization. All of these will bring in, as necessary, experts to speak to you on issues related to radiation protection, radiation safety, and impacts. But if you go a little deeper and you start looking at these organizations, the ICRP, for example, very well known, it's been operating nearly 100 years, not quite. Main commission, 10 people. It's got 5 standing committees. So it's 100-ish folks. I lead one of the 5 committees. If you look at the United Nations Scientific Committee on the Effects of Atomic Radiation that looked at the effects from Chernobyl, from Fukushima, from other areas, and that has about 30, roughly, countries that are represented in that group. If you start teasing through these pictures, you're going to see the same people on every one of those organizations. So the same people from ICRP are on UNSCEAR, they're in IRPA. If you look at the NCRP, again, the U.S. organization that advises the country on radiation protection issues, it's 100 people, a lot of gray-haired 100 people. And most of them are part of UNSCEAR, are part of IRPA, are part of ICRP, participate in IAEA. So the result, or the real world, is that there's not that many folks that really do radiation safety, radionuclide transport, dose calculations, all of this in the world. It's a pretty small club, and we wear 20 hats. Today I put on 3 pins, and I could put on a whole bunch more, but Health Physics Society, ICRP, Certified Health Physicist, I've got NCRP on there, I've done IAEA, and so the point is, we're a small group, you should cherish us. So
That's the media in the audience right here. The people who's going to take whatever they say and come out and reinforce it. They're not going to do any investigative journalism. Scientific experts believe Fukushima crisis far worse than the government are revealing publicly, equivalent to 20 nuclear reactor cores exposed. Ejected out of the buildings, for goodness sakes. Officials are lying, many more kids are getting cancer. Children, right away, we ended some reports of children with nosebleeds, sick, rashes, can't do anything, don't have any energy. Went on for years. There was 13,646 out of 38,200 children with tumors and thyroids. It used to be 1 in a million. It was 14,200 out of every 100,000 children need open heart surgery. That's across the entire country, right? So the whole country has been destroyed. They found plutonium in every sample. Wherever there's cesium or any other isotope, they found plutonium. Acute radiation syndrome and Fukushima watershed moment, 2012. We believe that in the long run, the Fukushima disaster may come to be seen as a watershed moment as it increased awareness of the need to better understand how to prevent and treat radiation-induced injuries. The blood, skin, gastrointestinal systems, late effects, which include genetic damage, cancer, cataracts. How many people do you know got cataracts now? The data showed a dose-related increase in thyroid cancers in children and adolescents exposed to radioiodines, but the greatest risk to younger children. Well, they're all risk, adults, the oldest to the youngest. Author also reported other interesting findings: increased risk of cardiacs, leukemia, and other diseases, and cardiovascular issues, blood organs. So these are debilitating illnesses and diseases and autoimmune deficiencies and injuries and illnesses. And a possible greater risk of cardiovascular disease in the Chernobyl survivors. Blah, blah, blah. They're getting up around that time now. So another group is working on a technique to use bone marrow to create a stem cell-based treatment that would help repair organ damage incurred as a result of radiation exposure. There has been success at that. It works for a lot of things, right? That particular. The direct infusion of blood stem cells into the bloodstream to increase the number of white blood cells is also being investigated. Well, you're making white blood cells in all your joints, not just your spleen. So if you need more white blood cells, you're in pretty rough shape. Other areas of research include the search for ways to detect genetic alterations caused by ionizing radiation to the DNA and the genes expressions, and energy metabolism. So the radiation isotopes are in your body, the atoms in your body, the anthropogenic man-made foreign object. It pulses energy at the speed of light in every direction. There are X chromosome cells, DNA in every direction. Your body just can't keep up with the repair because it's happening every second. And a lot of your resources are going attacking the source, trying to build a tumor around it. That could take a very long time, right? In Fukushima, it was so bad they were showing up within the first year from 1 in a million to 358,000 out of a million. Other areas of research included, of course, the thyroid is producing hormones that dictate development of the children. So that's even more insidious, radioactive hormones. And if you got that attribute, you're going to have radioactive stem cells. And we know where that ends up. Other areas of research include the search for ways to detect genetic alterations. It's really insane, isn't it? In addition, researchers are already preparing studies of long short-term effects of radiation to population. Of course they are. That's what monsters do. They deny it's happening, meanwhile they're studying you like you're a lab rat that you are to them. That's what you are. And they got everything listed, everything you could ever hope for. They'll give you radiation to try to cure your radiation illnesses, and then they'll give you more radiation to cure those injuries from the radiation therapy. Radiation therapy means 7 more different types of tumors. They're insane, eh? That's the only way to describe this industry is insane. Here's a charmer. Analyst of radiation exposure levels on the linen and other objects in the patient's rooms at nuclear medicine installations. Nuclear medicine is murder. That's what nuclear medicine is. A vicious murder, a vicious assault on a person. Right? It's a permanent injury to the person to give them radiation. Just let me get organized here a bit. Well, you see the same thing in the whales. All the whales are showing up in last stage starvation all over the world. Right, they're showing up in the severe emaciation, death stage, last stage starvation. They're seen as symmetrically throughout all the species worldwide. Adam, Indonesia. Analysis of radiation exposure levels on linen and other objects in 2023. So the whole room is lined, the walls of the rooms where the patients are, the victims are lined with lead. The syringe is lead lined and it comes in a lead case. And I'm going to inject it into your loved ones. Keep your fingers crossed. It could work. That's how to look at it. It's never worked, but it could work. It's like small modular reactors. They don't exist, but they might. That's the nuclear industry. The knife says are cleaner. They're lunatics. The whole industry is nothing but evil and lunatics. Every one of them should be put into a rubber room with a drip in their arm for the rest of their lives. By using the survey meter as a fixed distance from the object's surface, radiation contamination measurements for linen items were carried out for 3 days by aiming the survey meter to container containing linen items from certain distances. Based on the study, the level of radiation exposure obtained is categorized by low because of the value range is below 10 microsieverts. 10 microsieverts is a brutal dose, particularly if you lay down to it. But they were moving away from it, right? It's 10 microsieverts right here. Okay, use that one. Analyze the radiation exposure levels on linen and other objects in the patient's room. The gift that never stops killing. Nuclear medicine. It really is just, you really got to be some sick and twisted and demented and ruthless maggot to use that on a human. Let me see if I can, just give me 1 second here. Well, I'll give you something to think about. I'm not going to overdo it. I know what you're like, Dana, don't overdo it. I'm not. I won't do that. I'm better than that. I'm just going to listen a little bit. Just enough to get my point across, okay? Can't the man have a little bit of satisfaction? Is it a crime to want to have a bit of satisfaction? So nuclear medicine, that's our theme for the next minute. Nuclear medicine, which is radiation therapy. Radiation injury to your heart valves and muscles. Yummy. Spinal cord recovery from radiation therapy. Radiation-induced rectal injuries from radiation therapy. Sweet! I can't wait to get that one. Radiation-induced normal tissue damage, because there's minimum damage. There has to be some kind of damage. That's called normal. And there's nothing normal about it, of course. Radiation-induced brain necrosis. That is normal, by the way. Radiation-induced gastrointestinal syndromes. Just normal, everyday radiation therapy side effects. Nothing to worry about here. Radiotherapy and oncology. Radiation-related breast injuries. Radiotherapy. See the top of the page there? Radiation therapy. Radiation injuries from radiation therapy. Small bowel injuries from radiation therapy. Radiation-induced regional lung injuries. Radiation-induced brain injuries. I got a whole folder of radiation brain necrosis and radiation brain injuries from radiation therapy. It blows my mind sometimes. I'm terrified of hospitals because there's serial killing. Every hospital that uses radiation is a certified serial killer. Properties protect lungs from radiation-induced injuries. They put a little blanket of lead down in your lung, and so when you shoot it, it doesn't destroy everything. I'm just kidding you. Injuries to the cranial nerves and nucleids. If you remember they used to put this, what's the name of it? It was just radiation protection. Can't remember the name for it now. An apron. It was an apron full of lead. The problem with radiation, like X-rays and everything else, is they set themselves automatically to get the picture. And so if you put lead apron on you, then it has to increase the volume absurd amount to get through that lead. And they know that that's going to happen. And that's why every hospital has all kinds of those lead aprons. And, you know, there's another question. What do you do with all these radioactive lead aprons, I wonder? In the local dump? Central nervous system radiation injuries. Breast radiation injury litigation. Radiation-induced kidney injuries. Laser treatment for radiation injuries from lasers. Radiation-induced bowel injuries. Radiation-induced lung injuries. Radiation kidney injuries. Radiation. What part about that is so confusing to everybody, I wonder? The hospital knows the outcome of every radiation therapy. They know this is death, because that's what radiation therapy does. They drag their ass out of bed every morning, because it might work. Like, one day small modular reactors might work, one day that might work. Now, I know what you're saying now. That never happened, right? And you're right. That's what the International Atomic Energy Agency, ERPA, Unclear, the IPRC, they're all UN, right? They all said the same thing. That never happened. I am a bullshitter, and you are in danger because you were looking at my material. You are in danger. Da, 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 da. Ugh. Here we go. Should NASA be defunded for contaminating all species on Earth with plutonium from failed launches? I think it's a legitimate poll. I don't know why they're upset about it. I don't know. It's a legitimate poll. James has been cracking out the music lately. And did I sell secrets to Pakistan? That's my favorite, man. This is about 6,000 plus activists who were arrested and charged with sedition for protesting a nuclear disease factory being built in their area. They had legitimate concerns. And so the industry said, oh, we're going to charge you with sedition for protesting. And you can't get a job for years and years and years because it won't bring you to trial. You can't go to college. You can't get a bank account. You can't get a passport. You can't leave your community. You're stuck in purgatory until you start coming around saying nuclear is clean and green. James wrote this song to tell that story. I'll tell you another one tomorrow night. I wish for you and your loved ones. See you then.
I stood by the shore and I said what I thought about Kudankulam near our homes. I spoke of fish and children at night. They said I was speaking against the state. I was not asking for anything grand. I only asked what came from that plant. They called it sedition for saying those things. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I say too much? If nuclear is so clean and safe, I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I step out of place? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why answer me with handcuffs? They spoke of progress, they spoke of pride, they spoke as if nuclear was care. I spoke of water, boats and nets. They answered like I should not be there. Now I am wiser, now I am calmer. Now I repeat what they told me is true. If someone gets sick, it must be something else. Nuclear saves lives, or so they say. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I say too much? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why call my worry sedition? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? Or did I step out of place? If nuclear is so clean and safe, why charge me and put me in handcuffs? Now I get it, now I understand. Nuclear is clean. Now I get it, now I understand. It was only me. Now I get it, now I understand. I was making trouble then. Nuclear is kind and clean. That's what I say now here. Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? I only spoke of our shores. If nuclear is so clean and safe, why am I quieter now? Did I sell secrets to Pakistan? I only asked what it means. Now when they speak of a future built on nuclear, I say that nuclear is clean.